Okay, here we have another chain rule question. But here we have a double chain rule. And what I'm going to do is actually rewrite this as something like 2 times f of g of h of x. So we essentially have, we're breaking this down into 3 separate functions. The innermost function, which is h of x, will be just 5x. So we have 5x right there. Now, the outer function, the g of x function, will be just right outside of the 5x. So it's actually just going to be, I'm going to try to use colors here, but it's going to take a while, I guess. It's just sine of x. And now the outermost function, f of x, will be just outside of the sine function, which was our g of x. And it looks like it will be just e to the power of x. There we go. So if we decompose e to the power of sine of 5x, it's just going to be f of g of h of x. Being that h of x is 5x, g of x is sine of x, and f of x is e to the power of x. Now, what is the chain rule for this going to look like? Well, the two can just stay there, right? It's just a constant multiplying the functions. So we're going to have f prime of g of h of x times g prime of h of x, finally times h prime of x. And let's forget about this little arrow that I drew before, the blue arrow. Okay, now let's piece this all together. And there was supposed to be a prime over there, sorry about that, because that's the derivative, of course. So y prime is equal to 2 times f prime of g of h of x. Now what is f prime of x? That's just e to the x. The derivative of e to the x is just e to the x. But we want f prime of g of h of x. So that's just going to be 2e to the power of sine of 5x times g prime of h of x. What is g prime? G prime, so the derivative of sine of x is just cos of x. So g prime of h of x will be just cos of 5x. And finally, we're going to multiply everything by h prime of x, which is the derivative of h of x. And the derivative of h of x is just 5. Great, now I can just rewrite everything. 2 times 5 is 10. So we're going to end up with 10 times the cos of 5x times e to the power of sine of 5x. And that's it.